everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Or if you're new here, hello, I'm Sarah Johnson, I'm 21 years old, and I'm going to be doing the Scoliosis Tag, and then I also want to do a Spinal Fusion Tag. So I made up these questions, and if you've had the surgery, then make a video yourself and tag me in it. And this is just so you guys can get to know me. There's been a lot of new subscribers, and I just thought this was the good time to kind of go into who I am and how scoliosis affected my life. So I'm going to start by going over the scoliosis tag. If you see me looking this direction, my computer is here, so I'm like reading the questions and stuff. But the first question is, when were you diagnosed? I was diagnosed when I was 7. My pediatrician diagnosed me. By doing that test where you just bend over and touch your toes, and then she could see that I had misalignment in my spine. What degrees are your curves? I have a 64 thoracic, 42 lumbar, and 70 plus degree kyphosis before surgery. So those degrees were before I had my first surgery. You could see the kyphosis really bad when I was in 8th grade, and I have a photo of me with like a huge hump in my back, like you can noticeably tell, so I'll insert that picture on the screen. Did you need a back brace? Yes, I was braced at age 9, and it was called the Wilmington brace because I got it from DuPont in Wilmington, Delaware, and DuPont was the hospital that I had 3 surgeries at, and this brace was specifically made for patients at DuPont, so I'm not sure, you guys probably haven't heard of it. So they put you on this big casting table and like wrap wet cloths around you, and then that molds, and I'll put pictures on the screen. It was pretty bad, and it left sores in my back because I had that stiff rigid curve, and it didn't correct anything. It was a big waste of time basically. If the brace did work for you, that's great, and I really hope you guys don't have to get surgery, but if you did and the brace didn't work, I had that same experience. It was pretty traumatizing. Like, I did not enjoy that at all. It looked pretty scary from the pictures. Yeah. On a scale from 1 to 10, how is your pain, 10 being the worst? Currently, I am 3 months post-op from my last surgery. Right now, I probably have like a 6, I would say. So 6 is my pain right now. My right shoulder blade always hurts every time after surgery, and it still does right now, so I've never been pain-free from surgery. Usually after surgery I will have a different pain than what I went in to get fixed. So you might not, if you get the surgery, you might not be pain-free, and that's probably not going to be the case, but hopefully the pain that you went in for does subside, and you can do a lot of physical therapy to help with that stuff. The next question is, do your friends know? My close friends from high school, or I guess everyone from high school now knows because I have this channel, but before I was very afraid to talk about it, and I never wanted to talk about it. I was really embarrassed. I felt like a freak kind of, but now it's really nice to see other people that have it and connect through people with the internet. But to answer the question, yes, my friends do know. And now that I'm in college, my friends in college know, only because I had to miss a semester in 2018 due to having a surgery. So obviously I couldn't just be like, peace out guys, y'all see you next semester. Like, I told them, and they were really understanding about it, and they were interested. But it's not a topic in my life. Like, if I meet someone new, I'm not just gonna be like, hey, look at my back, I have this huge scar, you know? But if people ask about it, then I will elaborate and talk to them. How has scoliosis changed you? I think it made me more aware that people have a lot of medical problems like you don't know about. So if you just look at me, you couldn't tell that I have metal in my spine or that my spine is messed up. I think it's made me be more kind to others, and that you don't know what people are going through. So like, I'm in pain every day, but no one knows that. And it just makes you think, like, I don't know what's going on in people's lives, so you might as well just be nice to them, sort of thing. it's changed me in other ways too, because I've had 4 surgeries, so I've had to overcome a lot of mental and physical battles. You know, missing out on things, you can't do certain things, you can't play sports like you used to. You have to find new hobbies. You just have to adapt to your new body, and it's changed me for the better, I guess, because I wouldn't be who I am today, and I wouldn't be able to help others who has similar situations if I didn't have scoliosis. What is the best part about having scoliosis? Not gonna sugarcoat anything. Everything sucks about it. I guess the one thing that would be good was the connection that I have with people now on the internet, like through Facebook groups and even through this YouTube community. I've been growing in subscribers lately, so that's really cool, and people have been commenting, sharing their stories, and that they're gonna have surgery soon, so like how can I help them? So I think that's super cool, and it makes me feel better about having it, so I want to make other people feel included and that they continue living their lives while having it. So I think that's the best part, just being able to connect with different people that you aren't around every day. What is the worst part about having scoliosis? Just the limitations that you have and the pain, and that like if you're having a bad pain day, then it makes it really hard to do normal things that everyone else can do. But the limitation is really hard because you want to go run outside and play and do all these things, and like if you're a kid, you want to go out and do all that stuff. And I just remember being a kid, having surgery, and just not being able to, you know, be a kid, and that was the worst part. But now I think, like, I'm in college, so having to go to class, sit for a long period of time, walk around campus, sometimes that's hard to do, and like carrying a backpack, that can hurt my back, and then I just go home and want to lay in bed and not do any work. So it's kind of just overcoming this mentality that you have about it. Another con, I would say, or like the worst part, is your like body perception. Like I said, in 7th or 8th grade, I have that photo of me with the hump in the back, and I had to go to school like every day looking like that, and it makes people ask questions. Or when I had the brace on, this one person would poke me at school and he'd be like, what is that? But obviously I was too young to like say, oh, that's my back brace, and be proud of it. And so that was just kind of embarrassing. Like if you're a child growing up with it, it can be hard. But now I'm like, I don't care, you know, but that's just because I'm older. Okay, now I'm going to go into the Spinal Fusion Tag. So I created these questions. This is not like the previous tag where they were questions already made up. But if you guys have had surgery, because the previous questions were only about, you know, scoliosis and not actually having surgery, so I made the Spinal Fusion Tag. So if you guys have had surgery, the spinal fusion, whether that's the VBT tethering or titanium rods or whatever type of rods, I think it would be really cool if you guys answered these questions yourself and tagged me in it, and then we could all just have this big community. Because I think it's pretty interesting to see other people's experiences with it, and that's kind of why I'm doing it now. So the first question I ask is, how many surgeries did you have? So I have 4, one in 2013, one in 2014, 2018, and 2019. And I'm going to explain those. So 2013 was my first one. It was the full surgery, 2 titanium rods, 22 screws to correct my degree curves. And I think now they recommend surgery if you have 50 plus curve, and I had the S-shaped curve. I know you could have a C, or I don't know, all I know is C and S, but yeah, so I have an S shape. And yeah, so the first one, full, put in everything. I kind of think that they got the degree down to like 17 or 20 or somewhere around there. You won't get a full correction, but they will do the best they can. 2014, I had a failed fusion, so the screws at the top pulled back and the rods started to pull back, which caused me pain when I would go like this. So I could feel that I was hitting something. The doctor wanted to say, oh, just do physical therapy, see how that works, and that was not it, sis. The screws pulled back, and it was just a whole lot of pain for me. So the surgeon went in and cut the rods at the top, added more, put bigger screws in, and added another screw. So that would have made 23 screws at that time. And then 4 years later, in 2018, both of my rods broke. And how I found this out was that one day I woke up, I was in bed, and I just could not move at all. It was excruciating pain. I couldn't move. And so I called my mom to pick me up because I was at my boyfriend's. And I called my mom, and she came right away. We went to our closest hospital just so I could get some pain medicine and stuff like that. And we found out that one of the rods broke. And then this was at a time where I was trying to find a new surgeon because I aged out of like the pediatric surgeon that I previously had for the 2 surgeries. So I went to get like second opinions and other opinions from other doctors, and it was one of them that said, you know, we're just gonna wait to do surgery until your other rod breaks. And for me, that was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not gonna wait? What are you talking about? So we ended up actually going back to my pediatrics, and I was 19 at this point, I'm pretty sure. So I could still be in his system until 21. And that was just like, I guess their policy there, but we might not have known that completely. So I ended up going back to my surgeon, and at that time we found out that both of my rods had broken. So all new hardware put in, and then there was reused some screws, but all new rods. So then the next year later, I had another failed fusion, and we found that out because I was having pain at the lower right side of my back, so all the way down. I fused T3 to L3. I probably should have said that already. I was feeling pain like even below my fusion. It was below and to the right, so I did not know what it was. I saw a sports medicine doctor, and he said it was like a venous lake or something, but then I went to see the other previous doctor that said he was gonna wait until both of my rods broke to have surgery. So I went back to see him, and I got an MRI, got a CT scan, and they found that I had a fractured vertebrae at L2. So what he said he was going to do, he was going to go in through my back, go in through my side. He was going to remove a disc and put in a spacer in the disc's place, and then I thought he was going through my side so he could access my disc, which might have been true, but he also removed a rib and used it as bone graft. I woke up like not knowing that, and it was pretty crazy, but yes, that was 2019, and that was my last surgery. Like I said, I'm 3 months post-op now, and of course because of the isolation happening right now, I cannot go to my 3-month appointment, which means my restrictions are not lifted yet. They should have been at 3 months if everything looks okay in my back, but yeah, I'm just meh. I know a lot of people's surgeries are getting canceled right now, which really sucks, so I hope everyone, if you're watching this and you have to get surgery and it got canceled, I hope you are not in too much pain. That would be a bummer. Okay, the next question is, did you have any infections? And after the second surgery in 2014, they did blood cultures. It came back positive for MRSA. So I was put on antibiotics for 6 weeks. I didn't even know I had an infection, and they also said that it could have just been contamination from the OR. But yeah, infection is a possibility, but I didn't even know I had one. And sometimes you don't know, you don't feel sick, or you just don't even notice it until they open you up and they're like, oh my gosh, you know. How many hours was your surgeries? So my first one was 11 hours, and I needed a blood transfusion. I ended up donating a bag of blood before then. They had me donate blood, so I just got to use my blood. The second one was 6 hours, and then the next one was 8, and then the next one was 8. Did you do physical therapy? I did do a lot of physical therapy after my first one. Your body has to like readjust to everything. You're gonna need physical therapy. I know they highly request working on your core strength, which I don't think I did any of that, but I remember working on my shoulder blades. Like I said, they were always a problem, so like any type of this movement in your scapula area. I did physical therapy for the second one as well for the same reason. The third one, I didn't do any. I guess I just didn't feel like I needed it. I don't really remember, but this last one I have yet to do any because I wanted to wait until I had the restrictions lifted, and I'll probably do physical therapy for my core and my shoulder blades again. So yeah, I'm just waiting to be able to do physical therapy again once the virus dies out or whatever it's gonna do. I can go into a medical facility and do that. This past surgery, I had a homebound physical therapist, so she came in to help me. I just felt that I wasn't quite ready. I wasn't quite ready for physical therapy at that time. The exercises she was giving to me did not feel like they were helping me at all. And it's your choice. Like, if you don't feel like you're progressing or you don't feel like it's helping you, then there's no point in doing it. I think at that time it was way too soon for me, so that's why I am waiting now to go to like a proper physical therapy place. What was your schooling situation like if you had surgery while in school? So if kids or teens or adults in college are answering this, this is kind of like how I thought of the question, because I had surgery in 8th grade, so I was out of school for 2 months. I had a homebound teacher come and give me all of my work to do, and then we would try to figure it out together. I remember having a math tutor come, because math is like pretty hard to learn just homebound. I did that, and then I couldn't return to school full time because I had a very hard time sitting in chairs. I had a 504 plan, and I had to meet with everyone from like my principal, my teachers. So I had like a full meeting with all of them, and we discussed what would be the best for me. And part of the 504 plan was having somebody carry my bag for me because I couldn't carry like a lot of books or like have an extra pair of books at school, so I wouldn't have to carry them back and forth. I couldn't sit in chairs for a long time, so I had to only go half days, which made me go into cyber school during my 9th grade year. So 9th grade I was in cyber school, so staying at home, you know, video chatting with teachers and seeing them and doing all of that. And I really enjoyed that. Like, I enjoyed that a lot. I was very motivated to do my work, so sometimes online school can be hard for students to try to do that, but for me that was the best option. And then the end of 2014, when I was in 10th grade, and I was in honors classes at this time, and it was very hard to catch up. I did have a homebound teacher and another 504 in place, the same, but it was very, very hard to catch up. And my doctor actually had to call the teachers and, you know, like explain to them the circumstances. And I remember getting pretty bad grades for one semester that year because of the surgery. And it's just really hard to go back into school, especially as you get older. You're not as quick to bounce back as you were. So yeah, that was really hard for me, but we passed the year, you know. And then in 2018, I was in a fall semester of college. So this was my sophomore year. So I am now a semester behind in college. I decided to go back to college after this last surgery 3 months ago. So I had my surgery over winter break, which is about 2 months, and then went back to college during my spring semester. My mom had to drive me to college, and then she would drop me off. I would go to 2 classes, and then I made sure that I made 2 other classes online. I only took 4, so, well, I'm taking 4 currently. And I also took classes with professors that I already had, which made it a lot easier. And I did explain to them my situation, and they were very accommodating. And that brings us to like right now, like I'm still in those classes, but now we do not go back to school for the rest of the semester. So everything is online. I'm at home. So I'm actually really happy I didn't take this semester off because I'm at home anyway. Next question. Do you remember waking up? Maybe not after my first one entirely, but definitely my second one. My third one was the worst. I remember waking up. I remember everything. They asked me, was I in pain? I said yes. They gave me medicine. They're like, are you still in pain? I'm like, did you even give me medicine? So I remember that completely. And at this point in my third surgery, I was in the pediatrics hospital being an adult. So I don't know if it was because I'm an adult and they're giving me like child dosages. Probably not, but I don't know. I was on, I talk about it in the next couple questions, but I was on a morphine pump and that just was not doing it for me. So in this past surgery 3 months ago, I made sure to tell them, like, hey, I was in terrible pain and I remember everything from waking up. I watch other people's videos and they like, no, I don't remember anything. I just was asleep, and or my parents took videos of me so I could see like how you were when you woke up. But that was not the case for me. I remember everything. And then this past surgery, I also remember waking up. This time they switched me to ketamine, and I just remember having to close one eye like this while a nurse or a doctor was talking to me, because he kept talking to me and I'm like, I am seeing double of your head right now, but I can consciously talk correctly. Last one, even though I do remember waking up and talking to people and everything like that, I was not in a great amount of pain like I was previously. So yeah, although I did have side effects from the ketamine, like seeing double and all this and that, and like when I would close my eyes I would see like weird stuff, but I do remember it. How many days did you spend in the hospital? My first one I spent 5 days, the second one I spent 5 days, third one was 3 days, and then this past one was 5 days and 1 day in the ICU. And I was in the ICU only because they wanted to monitor my pain levels, because I had discussed with them that every surgery has been pretty painful for me, and so they just made sure to be around the clock with the meds and all that, which you wouldn't be doing. What medicine were you on in the hospital? 3 of them I was on the morphine pump, and that was when I was at DuPont. And then they gave me like a bunch of meds through my IV, and then after I was taken off the IV meds, I was given Percocet and Valium. Percocet is a narcotic for pain, I'm pretty sure, and then Valium is for muscle spasms, and it will like calm you down. Most recently, like I said, they gave me ketamine. So when I woke up from surgery, I was on a drip of that, and I was on that for like a day or two. And then they put Dilaudid through my IV when nothing else was working. And then once I got off of that, I was on Percocet, Valium, and gabapentin. The gabapentin really, really worked. Like, that worked the best, I'd say, for nerve pain. Like the pricklies, you know, when you feel like you're being stabbed with a needle. I don't know if you felt that, but gabapentin works great. What medicine were you sent home with? I was sent home with Percocet and Valium for all of them. And because I was in so much pain after my 3rd surgery, they added the gabapentin in once I called them and were like, hey, nothing is working. I need something else. And at that point, I didn't understand that I was having the nerve pain, like the prickles. I didn't understand that, so but they just gave me gabapentin to try, and then once I tried that, it made a great load of a difference. So I told my doctors that for this 4th time, and they just prescribed that to me immediately when I left the hospital. So I was leaving with that. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and it wasn't too boring or too long. I hope you guys learned a bit more about me, and if you want to do this tag, I'm going to leave all of the questions in the description below, and I would love for you guys to try it out and tag me in it. And I just want to see everyone's different experiences and how they're doing now. And if you have to get surgery, leave any questions in the comment section below and I will get back to you. That is everything. I hope everyone is staying safe in this quarantine or self-isolation period. I hope everyone is healthy. I myself have an autoimmune disease, Hashimoto's, I have PCOS, I have hemochromatosis, so if any of you guys have that kind of stuff, let me know below so I don't feel so alone, and maybe I can make a video on it. Yeah, I'm just trying to stay inside, definitely. With an autoimmune disease, you need to be really careful. Stay inside, guys. We don't want this to last any longer than it has to. Let me know what you guys are doing to stay occupied. I have been playing a lot of Animal Crossings, like a lot. Leave your friend IDs in the comments and I will gladly play with you guys if you guys are into Animal Crossings on the Switch. Alright, well that's all for today. Hi to all my new subscribers and bye. I'll see you when I see you.